I'm fixing my mic. There we go. No, I'm not muted. Scuff stream to start, always. There we go. Anyways, welcome in, everyone. Yes, I was muted. Because I've been doing like a lot of like telehealth stuff. It's been like fun messing around with all the settings because like everything on my computer is hooked up for streaming, and then I have to reset everything when I do telehealth, and then that resets everything, and then I have to reset it all for streaming. Yeah, it's fun. But welcome in. But Ness, I did post yesterday that I was hopefully going to stream today around 7 o'clock, but that's okay. I appreciate the thought. Every telehealth service has its own stupid specifications that run. Yes, exactly. It drives me insane. How like every telehealth service is like, you need to have this service, or you need to open it up on Chrome, or you need to do this. It's a pain in the ass. Like there is one provider I see where I actually have to use Chrome. Otherwise, I actually cannot physically see the provider. For some reason, the video portion of the telehealth does not work on Firefox. And I still haven't figured out why. But you know, that's why we have multiple browsers for a reason. I try to avoid Chrome like the plague, but it is what it is. All right. Well, as the title said, I inflicted a ton of psychic damage at Anime Central. Unfortunately, I'm not going to start off with exactly what psychic damage I inflicted at Anime Central because it was amazing. We are going to take a look to see at some of the cosplays we saw. So hold on, let me get over to... There we go. I'm glad my transitioning and stuff still works. Clickbait title, bro. Yes, she's lying to us gamers. You wish. But yes, Anime Central is the kind of the biggest con in the Chicagoland area, at least around anime-wise. I know there's some other like more Comic-Con based ones, like C2E2 is usually like the big more Comic-Con one. Anime Central is definitely the bigger anime one. I know we also have like Anime Midwest and a whole host of other ones out this way. But this one seems to be the big one. And this is the one that typically Loremaster and I go to almost every year. Actually, basically, yeah, even when we started dating, we kind of went every year. And then, of course, during COVID, they didn't operate, but it is what it is. I do genuinely wish, though, I had known about anime conventions like... Well, first of all, I wish I'd gotten into anime when I was actually in high school. Unfortunately, I did not get into anime until like mid to late college. But I wish I got into it in high school. And then even if I did get into it into high school, I wish I knew about conventions by the time I was in high school. Because, man, cosplaying is like my favorite. It's kind of like a shtick in our whole family. We love Halloween and Halloween costumes. Like my mom has gone like full out in costumes in the past, and I've kind of taken after her in that of like, oh man, I love pulling together like absolutely insane costumes. So cosplay literally would have been right up my alley. I probably would have afforded it more and could get away with doing more convention stuff as a kid versus being an adult with lots of responsibilities. Opie missed her developmental milestone of being a filthy weeb in middle school. I did. Completely missed. In middle school and high school, I was the perfect, pure, Christian, Catholic girl who did not debase herself in any sort of way. And now look how I turned out. It's great. But yes, I have been still enjoying it though ever since, and just, deciding that age doesn't matter, that we could still enjoy things anyways. But yes, Anime Central, like I said, biggest anime con in the Chicagoland area. I don't know if it's necessarily the biggest one in the Midwest, probably just because it is hosted through Chicago. But I know there are some other like local ones like up in Milwaukee and stuff like that get pretty big as well. It is still the biggest one in the Midwest. I kind of figured as such. It's nice, centrally located within the Midwest itself. And of course, Chicago draws a lot of people. I have to admit, it is fun browsing the tags afterwards, because when you get a lot of out-of-towners and out-of-countryers, the amount of deep dish pizza photos are always fantastic. It always puts a big smile on my face, so... But let's get started. I did a little bit better this year in taking cosplay photos. Now, granted, I did not edit any of my photos this year. I've only just cropped them. Typically, what I like to do to a lot of my cosplay photos that I take just on the con floor is I actually like to kind of blur the backgrounds behind whoever I'm photographing for two reasons. One, it allows the cosplayer to stand out more. It makes it look really good. But two, it also kind of allows that anonymity for all the people who are doing their own things in the background. Unfortunately, I am way too tired and way too busy to do any of that. So we're getting only just simply, the only editing I did was cropping the images. So that's the most we're getting this time. But let's see. All right, are we going to advance here? Yes. All right, right off the bat, I was actually happy to see the fandom still has not died out, which is the Houseki no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous. I think I did see a couple of other gems throughout the con, but we managed to stop and get, let's see, it was the Lapis Lazuli Phos, Antarcticite, and Cinnabar. It was fantastic. Mentally ill rock anime gaming, yes. I'm also looking forward to that new rock and mineral anime that's coming out. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like Ruri no Houseki or something like that. I forget. But basically, same thing. It's about rocks. Rocks are definitely a special interest of mine, especially since I was a kid. So, happy to see Land of the Lustrous still being represented even today. And plus, I actually really liked how this Antarcticite did her hair. Most of the time when I've seen Antarcticite cosplays, they usually go with white or clear. I actually kind of like that they went with more of a silver to make it like more reflective. So, I thought that was kind of cool. Then we have Prushka from Made in Abyss. Another great series. Definitely you need to have a strong stomach for that one. It looks very cute. It looks very adorable, but it is very dark. So yeah, have a strong stomach if you want to dive into that one. I'm even surprised that I got through that anime. I usually don't like a lot of the gory, dark story stuff, even though I did attempt Attack on Titan as well, but yeah. If the Housekis ever stop getting cosplayed, I'll sob and die. I agree. Stomach strong enough for cheese. Yeah, I wish. It's just barely strong enough for cheese. Why don't you just watch Made in Abyss on Disney Family Plus with the kids and grandkids? Oh my gosh, please, no. No. It's not a kids anime. It is not a kids anime. Anyways, I was excited to see it represented though. I know last year we actually had a decent turnout for Made in Abyss as well. Like there was a whole photo shoot for it. So then I found this adorable Ruby with a little Zwei plush, which I thought that's what made it for me. I was like, no, I have to get your picture because you have freaking Zwei. Like, how cute is that? We also have, of course, so my family knows I go to cons. They like Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I try to get some like photos for them mostly. So we have this cute Suki. I've always wanted to cosplay her. I don't think I ever will, but I did do when I was bored during the lockdown. I did pull out my face paint and did do the Kyoshi Warrior style face paint. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever do the full cosplay. We also had one of the Dai Li agents, which I thought was really cool. I felt like his cosplay was really well put together. Looks like it's hand sewn, so I was very impressed. And of course, we have the Lady of the Lake, which is definitely one of my favorite episodes. I love the Lady of the Lake episode. I think there's always a handful of other Avatar episodes I absolutely love. Of course, I love the Tales of Ba Sing Se one, which makes everyone cry in Avatar, but I absolutely also love the haiku part of that episode because I am a haiku fiend. Still tempted, with my beatnik kind of theme that I'm going with is to make a slam poetry redeem. We'll see. I gotta get me some bongos and I gotta get me a nice smoky stage to transition to if we're gonna do some slam poetry. There was a lot of Jesuses this year, which I found interesting. So, I tried to grab a couple of pictures of them. I don't know why, but, why not? Jesus at a convention, pretty cool. There was also a lot of popes. Naturally, being in Chicago, the new pope being Catholic, we did have a lot of pope cosplays. The new pope being, Laura pointed out, the new pope being Chicagoan. That's what I meant to say. Both starts with C's. They're all floating around in my brain. There were a lot of Pope cosplays. I think my favorite one, which I did not get a picture of, he had, what is it called? I forget what the actual stick is called. I used to know what it was called as I used to altar serve. And like when the bishop would come through, they also have the stick and you'd have to hold it for them, yada, yada, yada. But his was like a cross, but his cross was a Chicago hot dog. It was beautiful. Very well made. But I liked this one because I've seen this joke go around on the internet because that's Poplio, which is a Pokemon. And because it's Poplio, and it really looks like, when you spell it out, it looks like Pope Leo, and that's the new Pope name. I thought it was perfect, and I thought it was cute that they were carrying around a dressed up Pope Leo, so. That guy was also easily one of the most Renaissance Italian-looking dudes I've ever seen. You know what? Yeah. Man looked like he feuded with the Medici family. I could see it. Marcel's. So there was a ton of Dungeon Meshi. I did not get a lot of photos, and of course the one that I really, really wanted, I couldn't track down because the time that I saw her, it was the blood ritual Marcel. Like, it looked so cool. Like, she had like the blood on her legs and in the hair and everything, like super good cosplay makeup effect. But unfortunately, I was in line to get my badge, and I didn't want to leave the line because it was already pretty long. So I couldn't get a photo of her, and I didn't see her later at the con. So a little disappointed I didn't get Blood Ritual Marcel, but I did like this one because she was carrying around the Void Chicken from Stardew, so couldn't pass that one up. There were many Marcels at SC252. Yeah. The escalator curse ends to the lines. Yes. It really does. But yeah, there was a ton of Dungeon Meshi. I did not stop because I guess it was because there was so much. I didn't feel the need to take a lot of photos. I did get this amazing Senshi. I think there was one other one walking around who had like a giant pillow bread. Wish I could have gotten that photo, but once again, couldn't quite get to him. That one didn't happen in line. That was just circumstantial. Saw it across the con, but couldn't like run across mobs of people. That's the downside to ASEN. ASEN is a very busy con, and so it gets packed. It is very hard to move inside the con once peak hours are hitting, so it does become a little bit hard to navigate. Luckily, there are some areas, like as you can kind of see in the background here, where it opens up so you can get a little bit more airflow. It's easy to kind of get to, but definitely a lot of the main areas do get pretty packed. Yeah. Let's see, there are only 2 escalators at ACE, and the set that opens up into a massive entry hall and one that shoves you into a tiny corner in one of the most dense sections. Yeah. Although, to be fair, that is my favorite thing. Every year at ASEN, I take a video of going down the escalator because the main escalator that goes down opens up to the main hall where most cosplays meet up. Not for photo shoots, but like it's usually all the cosplays that are cumbersome. So like the full armor cosplays, the ones that have multiple props, like the big ones that don't want to move around a lot and don't want to go into the main convention halls, they're all there. And of course, it's just a general gathering space because it's right at the entrance. I love taking a video coming down that escalator of like not only seeing the cosplays on the escalator itself, but then it opening up to the hall and just seeing the mass of people. And it's always my favorite thing. And I've done it every year. Bahamut, hey, welcome in. Let's see, there are, Laura, you got that. I thought I was behind on chat. No worries. The other thing I took lots of pictures of is, what is the word? Baldur's Gate. There we go. My dad has become a massive Baldur's Gate fan. It's kind of sweet. He was the guy who introduced me to gaming as a kid, kind of put it down, and now that he is he's not fully retired, but he's been like wanting to pick up hobbies again. And so he picked up gaming, and basically I've been walking him through the new and updated gaming stuff. And yes, as Laura says, he is obsessed with Baldur's Gate. I do feel like he would have been a huge D&D person if that was around during his time. But I feel like this is a nice tiptoe in. I am still tempted to run a D&D table with my family. I think they would enjoy it because most of my siblings do D&D. or something adjacent to it. My parents don't, but I do believe like they would get a whole kick out of it. So as for my dad, Papa Possum, we took a lot of Boulder's Gate photos, and there was actually a pretty decent amount. We did not go to the photo shoot because the photo shoot was rather late, and there was a different panel we wanted to go to. So we skipped that, but I tried to grab as many Boulder's Gate photos as I could along the way, and they were all pretty good cosplays. Of course, we also have our joke cosplays. We have Stop Watching Anime and Get a Job by Flork of Crows. Love me some Flork. He is a great cartoonist, and I did cosplay one of his characters 2-3 years ago. I did Malfina from Malfina and Clark, his little comic strip. I have since deleted those cosplay photos because that cosplay came out horrendous. And I was like, yeah, no, I was not happy with that cosplay. It was very last minute. Although Clark came out fantastic. I sewed him. We still have him. He lives in our bedroom. And he's just this little sappy Beanie Baby guy that just hangs out in our room at this point. Also, this joke one, the worm off a string. I asked to take a photo, and she's like, do you want me to worm for you? And I was like, sure. And then she immediately like tilts over like this to like get the full worm effect. It was great. That was such a good one. I hope to see more worms in the future. Also, Nesses. I did keep an eye out for any Nesses I could see. Unfortunately, not as many this year. I'm mad that last year was probably the most amount of Ness I saw, but I only took one picture of all the Nesses. And then this year, when I was actively hunting them down, there was only 2. So this is one, and then there's going to be another one probably later down the line. Big thing for me this year, because I just finished or caught up in the series, which is Witch Hat Atelier. Was excited to hear that there was like a whole group here that was doing cosplays for a moment, and they were all fantastic. Like all these costumes were extremely well made. We did go to the photo shoot. I think this is the start of the photo shoot. Yeah. Where the whole group meet up. Now, obviously not a huge group, but like still a decent turnout. We basically had all the main characters except for maybe like one, I think. I'll probably butcher the name, so bear with me because like I said, I recently read it. I read it kind of pirated, so I don't know if they translate, because I know partway through the translation that I was reading, they like changed the name of 2 of the characters. They're like, actually, after some thought, we think this is how the character's name should be translated. And it was like, oh, okay, well, great. Weird Ass Hat Gang, trying to muscle in on the Toho bit so much. See, I see SMH, it's so much hate, but it's not. It's shaking my head. But the first time I saw SMH, I don't know why my brain was like, it means so much hate. I don't know. I'm special, I guess. But yeah, so ASEN does photo shoots. They're scheduled, part of their guidebook. I like the idea of it. I genuinely miss the old photo shoots. The old photo shoots used to happen outside the convention center. Now, granted, obviously, if there was rain, they had some backup indoor ones. But the way it is now is just like there's this big warehouse section of the convention center, and then they put up these ugly ass, like, as you could see here, like in the background of these photos, there are these ugly ass curtains that they never iron, which drives me nuts because I feel like it wouldn't be so bad if they ironed them and like made them smooth. Then it would be not as ugly. And then you just take pictures indoors, but like it has the worst lighting. It's the most ugliest backgrounds. So I'm a little salty about that. I miss being outdoors because I know like my first, and I was even trying to find an example of it to show on stream. Cause like one of the first times I went to ASEN, they had the outdoor photo shoots. And even though I was shooting off of a phone, like I got some like almost professional level shots of the cosplays, but like now everything just looks like garbage because of the lighting and everything. And of course, I'm not gonna do, when I'm at a con, I'm trying to enjoy the con. I'm not gonna bring my full photography setup because I do photography as a hobby, but I'm not about that. So I can't get over how someone thought let's fucking go in this emote contents meant looking for groups. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can see it though. I can see it, but no, I see the angry face means let's fucking go. Let's be real. But yes, here are the Quillfrees. Loved them. I actually liked how each of them did their glasses different. The guy on the left had like actual glasses, and he like like took the lens out and put a sunglasses in one of them. And then the guy on the right, he actually 3D printed the glasses, which I thought was really cool. Then we have Coco, so the main character. She was really adorable. We also have, I think, like I said, I'm probably butchering these names because they kept switching up the translations. Titania? I don't know. Absolutely cute. She had the energy of that character too, which was adorable. I love it when people's energy matches the character they're cosplaying. And then we had, once again, butchering it because I don't know. This one, I'm not sure. They didn't change the name, but I'm just not sure how you pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Reach, or Reachy, because it's Riche, and it's a girl. And I'm not sure. Yeah, there's gazillion. Well, I was a teacher, so there's a gazillion different ways to pronounce names, and I never know which one. So I'd assume Riche, probably. I do like her. She is probably like one of my more favorite characters in that book because she's like super autistic. Shocker. But yes, so far, love Witch Hat Atelier. Then we have Arugio. This one I actually know how to pronounce the name of because weird coincidence, there was a priest at the college I went to who actually I became good friends with, and his name was Arugio. And spelled similarly. I think he spelled it with an A though and not an O. But I knew how to pronounce his name, and I thought it was awesome that now I know there's like a fictional character named after, like similar to him. Let's see, I assumed it's whatever the JP spells out since the language is practically one-to-one as written. Yeah. But I do love him. I do love him as a character in the book. I will say, if you do pick up Witch Hat Atelier, first of all, it is wonderfully drawn. I love the art style. Second of all, I do have a feeling that the manga artist has a thing for necks. Because I don't know, because I like to analyze art as I'm reading. And I noticed while reading Witch Hat Atelier, like, the necks drawn on these characters are extremely, especially the back of their necks, like where the neck next to their shoulders is extremely well drawn, like anatomically correct, visually appealing. So I have a feeling they have a thing for necks. But otherwise, visually stunning. Don't mind if that's what they like. Neck gaming, if you say so. Oh shoot, what's his name? Blanking on the name. Hold on. Witch Hat. It's not Bob. Characters. I like him because he in the manga is actually colorblind. Where is he? I like they're giving me all these weird ass like side characters, and I'm like, no, he's actually kind of like a main character who shows up a lot. Like, why are we not listing one of the more main characters? Where is he? Pointed hat, which is, oh, Tarta. There he is. Tarta. This was an adorable Tarta. I like it. He also had the potions on his belt, which is a huge thing in the manga itself, because he's colorblind, but the way he memorizes things is like by either smell, or he has to like know what goes in it before it becomes a potion. It's kind of interesting. But he specifically has the type of color blindness that makes everything gray and silver, which I find fascinating. I like that they went into that detail and like actually explained it, like, because it is an actual version of color blindness that exists. It's a little bit more rarer, but I thought that was really cool. Let's see. All right, well, yes. Now I got to go back here. There we go. Then we have Lulucci. Fantastic. Loved her cosplay. Once again, very well put together. Then we had the girls. These are some of the group shots that I thought they were so cute. They had such good energy. I also love that they did like this little heart chain thing between Quillfree and the girls because he's like their teacher. It's so freaking cute. And then of course the hearts again with Arugio as well. It was just so, I don't know. It was such a good group. I enjoyed it. Then my next favorite, and this is something, a goal for me eventually, Monster Hunter. So we have some Zinogre and Arkfeld armor, which looks fantastic. Or not Arkfeld, that might be, is that Arkfeld? It might be Arkfeld, or that might be, Barioth, the ice stinky saber-tooth kitty. Yes.
Barioth.
I think that is Barioth. So fantastic cosplays here. The armor was amazing. We also have the Langombi. Now these poor people. Granted, okay, one of the cooler sides of ASENs this year. I think the high was maybe 67. So luckily, not one of the worst. We've had some ASENs where it's reached like 80, 90 degrees outside and inside the convention becomes a boiling room. Regardless, it still gets pretty hot inside the convention center. I'm surprised these people were still alive. The Lamgombi armor, yeah, it is gorgeous, but holy cats. Because, I mean, they used like, it looked like the synthetic fur. Like this, it wasn't like plastic or some sort of knockoff. Like this just, it looked warm. I'm not going to lie. It looks fantastic, but it looked warm. And then we have Odogaron, our favorite puppy. This was a fantastic one. There was a female one like 2 years ago that did the long sword. That was also fantastic. Like I said, one of these days, because I did get into foam, like crafting a little bit. I get how it works now that I've actually had a chance to use it. And I feel like I could do really well with it. And I've always wanted to do, I think I'm probably going to let go. In the past, I've wanted to make Halo, like a Halo suit armor. But I feel like now I'm going to move more towards Monster Hunter. And I'm thinking Basil Goose, because Basil Goose is by far my favorite monster. We'll probably do his armor set or probably a combination, because sometimes his armor set by itself, there's certain parts that are a bit lacking. Which, I mean, wouldn't be too bad at a con, but who knows? We'll see. It looks like would actually serve as functional winter gear, right? Yes, Basil Goose. And then they didn't have a Monster Hunter shoot this year. Sometimes they do have a separate one, but this time it was just Capcom in general. I forget who they were against. We did have like, what's her face from Zenless Zero there too. I think she was like doing a Monster Hunter crossover thing that Zenless did or something. Ellen Jo, yes. I think there was some sort of crossover event, which is why she was in the Monster Hunter shoot. I forget who was on the other side. Do I have the... Yeah. It was like the Devil May Cry people. I don't know why they pitted these two against each other. Also just love how like dynamic this shot kind of came out. Didn't realize my phone could do dynamic shots like that, like the reverse kind of fish lens kind of thing. Definitely will be playing around with that more in the future now that I know that it could do it. But it was cool, and I also want to go back because the little lady here in like the blue, that's actually a Palico. She was in one of the Palico armors, and I thought that was freaking adorable. I didn't even think about like doing Palico cosplays. Like I just automatically thought, oh yeah, Monster Hunter armor, that's what everyone goes to. But she was genius and unique in doing a Palico because the Palico armors are cute too. So, and I also like that he was like throwing her because there's a lot of instances in Monster Hunter. I think in more of the older games, I think there's like an animation where you throw your Palico. So yeah, that was the Capcom photo shoot. I didn't get much of the other stuff because unfortunately I don't play a lot of Capcom games, so I don't recognize a lot of the characters. So yeah. Then this other poor lady in full winter gear. It's Nadeshko from Laid Back Camp. I love that series because I love slice of life stuff. And I was amazed that I found her because I've not seen a Laid Back Camp cosplay. I don't think ever. Maybe there might have been a Rin one year. But I was really excited to see the Nadeshko. But man, she also must have been sweating to bullets because that was full winter gear. Can't go wrong with a Bochi. We did have a couple of other ones. This was the only one I managed to snag. I was very happy to see Bochi still being represented. Cells at work. So these two, of course, cute. I always love it when there's a white cell, red blood cell couple. That actually happens a lot at a lot of the anime conventions. But the one I didn't get, although to be fair, I wouldn't actually display it without permission. There was a family that was a white blood cell dad, a red blood cell mom, and they had a little kid, like probably 2 years old, who was a platelet. It was so freaking cute. I wish I could have gotten their photo, but even still, I don't think I would have displayed it just for the fact that basically if they're a minor, unless I get specific permission, I try not to post that stuff, or I usually like gray out their faces. Yes, I love couple cosplays. But Opie and I will never, because whoever isn't cosplaying is on supporter. No, you will. You will cosplay with me. And I've got like several of ideas that could work. My favorite one by far is I'm going to be sexy, not Grismelda. That's the character from our D&D game. It's not Grismelda. It's Gruntilda. I will be sexy Gruntilda, and you will be Mumbo Jumbo, and it will all be good. Your SC24, I saw many father, mother, daughter, spies, family cosplays. Yes, we did see a lot of those too. I guess I'll have to be your cosplay partner then. Yes, absolutely. I'm all for it, Ness. I've been dying to be a part of either some sort of couple cosplay or cosplay group. I am desperate for it. I still need to like find a good group to meet up with. One in particular, I do want to find a bunch of girlies to do it with because I desperately want to find a bunch of people who know Aria, the animation, the one about the Undines, and have like a whole group cosplay of that. Let's see. Okay, I'll be Mumbo Jumbo, but only if I get to day drink at the con. Sure. Imagine not cosplaying with your wife, Lore. Yeah, right? All right, on to the next one. Oh, now my buttons are going crazy. There was surprisingly supposed to be a Rosen Maiden meetup. We did get there, but I guess the last couple of people were really, really, really late, and we wanted to move on. So I did snag a couple of photos of the few that were there. So this is Barasisho from Rosen Maiden, which is like the evil ultimate doll at the end of the show. And she was actually really good. I have not seen a cosplay of her. I have seen Sui Saseki, Su Saseki. We've seen a Sunginto in the past, and of course, my favorite, no, stop blanking on names, brain. Suginto? No. The schedules don't line up. Yeah. Is it yeah, no, I like no. What? Fuck! Brain! Ugh! Hold on. It is, like, not working tonight. I blame my meds. Unfortunately, like, the pharmacy that I normally get my meds from, their machine broke due to, like, the high dust storms and shit lately. And so I've been, like, medless for, like, the past week. So I've been in a lot of pain, which, of course, if you are in a lot of pain constantly, your brain doesn't quite work well. Let's see. Rosa Maiden. Shinku. Okay, so yes, I have a ton. Suginto is my favorite one. Shinku, that's the other one. Yes. And there was a Shinku apparently at the con as well. I did see some like social media posts on it. All right, moving on. So long as I don't know, another joke cosplay. Da Vinci? Why not? Da Vinci holding a manga Mona Lisa? I don't know. I was all for it. I love Da Vinci because, you know, why not? Anime Da Vinci, my son. Pretty awesome. Love the pose, too. Full send. Amazing cosplay. I loved it. Now that I've finally watched Haruhi, I was able to understand and actually catch the cosplay. So we have this cute Haruhi, and then this wonderful set of all three Haruhi female characters in bunny suits. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. You finally watched. Yes, I finally watched it. That was like the third anime I watched. Nice. My first, you want to know? Hold up. So barring childhood animes, because like I didn't know what an anime was as a kid. The three animes that were technically available to kids at around my age were probably, and the three that I saw were Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Cardcaptor Sakura. Those were the three I grew up with that would be classified as animes. Beyond that, no anime. So I always peg my first anime as like the first one I actually dipped my toes into. You want to know what it fucking is? You want to know what it is? Hold on. I need to change. No, that's not the face. Here we go. This is the face. This is the face I need. Naruto. Naruto was my first anime. I was obsessed. I was obsessed with Naruto. I binged so much Naruto. I watched Naruto on YouTube where every episode was broken into like 3 or 4 parts and like the resolution was like 480p. And yeah, Naruto was my favorite. Sakura was my favorite. I wanted to be Lady Tsunade so bad. Yeah. I don't know. There we go. That's the right face. I don't know what my next one was, because I know after that I did start branching out, but I just remember Naruto was my ultimate first favorite. A good gateway anime, I guess, yeah. Yep, exactly, Lord. That's exactly what it looked like every time I typed into YouTube. Bro, wake up, it's 2008, right? Oh my gosh. Boy, was that me, though. The other thing I obsessed with at the time was also Final Fantasy. I still haven't touched a single Final Fantasy game, but I obsessed because of due to AMVs. AMVs is actually what got me into anime. So that was actually my true gateway into anime was AMVs. But the other thing I obsessed over was Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X and X-2. I knew anything and everything about those two games and never touched a single one of those games. I still have yet to play them. There's still time to put right what went wrong, I guess. I have to save the gorilla. You have to save the gorilla. But yeah, never touched a Final Fantasy game, but like know everything about 8 and 10. Pizza Siver. So I saw that she was going to cosplay via social media. I was hoping I was going to ran into her, and she was awesome because she gave me a pizza pin for recognizing her. Definitely one of my favorite skins in League of Legends. I did play Siver a little bit as an ADC. Even though I suck as ADC, I'm definitely better as a support in League if I touch League again. But yes, I was happy to see Pizza Siver because that's literally my favorite skin. Bunny girls are good culture, and he was crucial in proving this. Yes, I have never seen appeal in bunny girls. Wow. I don't know. I'm so about bunny girls. It's not so much bunny girls, but I like the suit, the leotard stuff. Like, do they need the ears? No, but I do like I guess you could say they're cocktail girls. So that's ultimately what it is. It's a cocktail girl with bunny ears. These guys, I got so lucky. I am so happy I found them right at the end because I saw them earlier. I love Dr. Stone. I especially loved season 1 of 2 in Dr. Stone. Once we started getting into season 3 and beyond, it's starting to get a bit hammy. Like at first it was at least somewhat believable. Now it's getting to the point where, okay, like, yeah, I'm sorry. This ain't happening. This is made up. But I will say I switched my gears on that. Instead of hating the series, I just went, you know what? I'm not going to love it as much as I did with season 1 and 2. I'm not going to let it's not as realistic thing ruin me. So I'm enjoying it because it's very entertaining, especially in the later seasons. Is it as very scientific as the first couple of seasons? No, but I do find it very entertaining. And so I thought this was an amazing cosplay group of the science team. So I loved it. It's the appeal of the leotard plus the stockings, man. Yeah, it's so perfect. Can't relate. Yeah. But yes, Dr. Stone, absolutely loved. I think there were there was one of the newer characters from the season. I did not get a picture of them. I wish I did because their cosplay was fantastic. I felt like it almost looked like the character walked off the screen. That cosplay was so good. My favorite, I did get a picture of a couple of these last year. I don't think it was the same person, but someone else did this cosplay. Sleepy Time Princess, because that is a documentary of my life. She was adorable, and I loved that her partner was the Demon King. Or no, not the Demon King. He was the cleric that resurrects her every time she dies. And I thought that was freaking adorable, and I loved it. And I like that they did a little couple shoot together like that. Then we had this adorable couple from Animal Crossing. We had a Celeste. I actually did not notice his costume first. I noticed Celeste first because, of course, naturally the bright yellow tights are going to really stick out. But then I realized he's Brewster. And I was like, of course, I want you two together because that is freaking adorable. So another cute couples cosplay. We had a Beaker. We had a lot of good childhood things from like my childhood. So we have Beaker. There was another childhood one that I saw like 3 times, but literally could not get a photo because either A, it was so freaking crowded, or B, they were like halfway across the convention center. But if anyone has seen Recess, the old 90s, early 2000s cartoon called Recess, someone was dressed as Spinelli. And I was like, I really wanted her photo, but I could not get it. So I was mad. But I love me a Beaker, so we got a picture of a Beaker. Remember 2 years ago with the 2 Miss Frizzles? Yeah. I always love it when there's a good Miss Frizzle. I have done I actually did a Miss Frizzle's quote unquote cosplay when I was in 3rd grade. My mom actually made me a wearable cardboard magic school bus. So not only was I Miss Frizzle with the done up hair and an actual Liz stuffed animal, I actually had a magic school bus, a bus that I was driving in. I was awesome. Like I said, cosplay kind of runs in my family. Being a Neopets fan, was very excited to see the Soup Fairy out and about. I know last year there was actually a couple more Neopets cosplays that I didn't manage to get a photo of. Only the Soup Fairy this year did I see. I did not see any other Neopets cosplays, nor was there any a Neopets victim. It's not a victim. I love Neopets. Although it is interesting to see. I'm very much enjoying the drama around Neopets right now. It is very fascinating. Definitely, if anyone's curious and want to know, like, want to read about weird internet history and lore and drama, go to the subreddit. I don't remember which subreddit. Hold on. I don't remember which subreddit it was. It might be our Neopets subreddit. I don't recall. But there was a couple of Reddit threads that was, like, the history of Neopets. And just, it's bizarre. Especially with some of the Scientology pull-in stuff, it's bizarre. And then especially now that it's been bought out from Jumpstart and the stuff that they're doing now, it's crazy. And I know I spent like 2 work shifts reading up on it because it was fascinating. I was just sitting there at work, like with my imaginary bucket of popcorn, just reveling in the drama that ensued, apparently. I never thought I'd hear Neopets and drama together in the same sentence. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Neopets is full of drama. Even when I was at the height of my obsession in playing Neopets, those forums, first of all, are still quoted today in various memes. Second of all, those forums were nasty. They were evil. And I participated in a lot of it. Luckily, I stayed more on the clean side. I was more on the imaginative, silly rivalry stuff, especially around the Altador Cup. But, yeah, those boards could get pretty nasty. All right, on to the next one. Shikanoko! We found one. It was a shame. As we were leaving in the car, there was like a whole like rave-ready group of Shikanoko cosplayers, and they all had like light up antlers. It was amazing. And it was like one of every character from that show. I wish we could have gotten their photo, but of course we were in the car, lots of traffic, no good photo, unfortunately. All right, let's see. Which I thought, interesting enough, I thought there would be actually more of this cosplay this year since it just came out. But you know what? I think because it had such, or I think it came out at the end of 2024. So I don't know. I felt like there would have been more. There's the other Ness, this time with the bat. Notice that she had the bat. She was also the person running that plush stall behind there. So she was wonderful enough to pause briefly and allow me to take a photo. Bat Ness game. Yes, I know. I was really excited to see that she had a bat. She even said that. I said, hey, Ness, can I take your photo? And she's like, yeah, give me a second. I need to go grab my bat. And she goes and disappears behind the plushies and pulls out the bat. It was amazing. Steve from Blue's Clues. He had the notebook and everything. It was wonderful, and he was such a sweet guy. We also have another throwback for those 90 kids, apart from Steve from Blue's Clues. We also had Lunette the Clown. She even had a little Molly the Dolly. I used to also have a little plush Molly Dolly. It even had, I remember the plush because it had like a little hard plastic bow on the top. And the way that doll worked in the show is that she would just have thought bubbles that would pop up. And in the thought bubbles, there would be like a single image. And that's how she like communicated with everyone. And I remember the doll had like these laminated like thought bubbles. So you could swap out the thought bubbles she was thinking. It was really cute. Let's see. Opie, how do you remember all these names? What do you mean? I've been forgetting half of them. I had to look 2 of them up online. I hear clicking. What is he following up? Only the weeb ones. Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, these are from my childhood. I remember, like, stuff from my childhood is more cemented in my brain than more recent stuff. Like, who the hell remembers? I do. I was obsessed with that show. We even had a whole Lunette the Clown birthday party for me and my sister because she loved it. We made a whole Lunette the Clown giant couch cake. My mom was Pinterest before Pinterest existed. Yes, I did. I had a clown birthday party. 100%. All right. But yes, Ludette the clown, because I love her. We also had Erica, the gym leader, with her cute little oddish. Kudos for her for wearing those sandals all throughout the con. I literally cannot do any specialty shoes anymore at a con. The last time I did shoes, fancy shoes, was for the Malfina costume, where I wore 3-inch heels throughout the entire con. Never again. Never again. Yes, pain. I will not do it. Now, granted, at the time, I think it's just because I'm too old. There is a way to wear heels. You have to know how the shoe fits specifically. You need to have it tight in a certain way in order for you to be able to wear it all day and wear it comfortably. Now, I did find shoes that were like that way. They were very well structured boots that had lace up. Lacing is definitely going to be your best friend if you're going with higher heels. You want to make sure it is secured to your foot. You do not want it flopping around. Because otherwise, if it's flopping, you're killing your feet. But so long as your heels are tight on your feet and they're not flopping around, you actually can go quite a long time in heels. The reason why I know this is because I had to do a lot of student teaching, like pre-student teaching. It wasn't full student teaching yet, in Chicago public schools, where most of the kids looked like they could kill me. So you kind of had to establish a little bit of authority. So I definitely put on some heels and really did myself up to be a little bit more intimidating than I normally am. Definitely kind of office lady look. It does help. I did experiment with it where I came in with more casual clothes Wednesday and then came in fully dressed to the nines the other, and the behavior was much better on the days where I was dressed to the nines. Even my Nest shoes with Dr. Scholl's insoles leave me sore after con. That was me. That was me this con. I had comfy shoes. I had my Dr. Scholl's insoles. I was dying. Bless my cane, because yes, I do use a cane now. I don't actually use it often. The only time I use my cane is when I'm doing stuff like this, like a con or a museum, where it's you're not moving constantly, but you're stopping a lot. It's that stopping a lot that gets me. So bless my cane for getting me through this con, because I think without it, I would have completely died after. Let's see here. All these things keep popping up because I keep clicking buttons I'm not supposed to. There we go. So the biggest thing this year, apart from Dungeon Meshi, was definitely Apothecary Diaries. Now, granted, I did take a lot of photos because I am obsessed with the show. It is phenomenal. Highly recommend. Even if you're not into romance stuff, there is enough of a mystery, whodunit, medical Dr. House kind of feel to it. So definitely worth a pickup. So we have various Mau Maus. This is the one where it's, I think that was the Spring Festival outfit. We had the 2 consorts. I will probably butcher their names because I could hear it, but I can't get my mouth to pronounce it. Lady Gyokyu and Lady Luha. Luha. I think. I don't know. Every time, I see the letters in my head and then my tongue just decides we're not pronouncing letters anymore. It's House MD if House could be executed at any time for annoying the hospital director. Yeah, pretty much. This was the season finale Mau Mau from season 1 where she's doing her dance. And then we have a Jinshi and Mau Mau couple. We did see a lot of these couples. I did not get a lot of photos of them. This was just the first one I got a photo of. I think that might have been all of them. All right. I thought there was more. There were, like I said, there were a lot. And I don't think I took a picture of every single one just because there were a lot. I missed this because I was at the Witch Hat Atelier meetup because it was happening at the same time. But Lore provided me the photos from the Toho shoot. I should have looked to see what other ones he had because I probably wanted to add some more into here. But we have these wonderful cosplayers here. I love the details on the dresses. It is fantastic. We also have a Trap Cherno. I don't know why he sent me this one, but we're including it. I guess he thought the Cherno trapped in a bubble was adorable. Free the fairy. Wow. Oh, there's another Mau Mau. Okay, she just got mixed in. I thought I organized these correctly. This is also the Spring Festival Mau Mau. This fantastic Madoka. Very gorgeous cosplay. I also love that the inside here, it's not just navy blue. It is like an actual like starry galaxy pattern. Very beautiful. And her bow is pretty well made too. The Toho shoot didn't turn out well on my phone, sadly, so only the personal shots I got were any good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, those, like, I like the idea that they went with as a way to consolidate the photo shoots, because what it used to be is, those photo shoots used to be outdoors, and they were, like, everywhere. You would have to hike to get to them. Especially if there was any back-to-back, you'd be like running across the whole convention center to get from one to the other. Whereas how they have it now, it's all in this one warehouse area at different, like, the, you know, like you saw in the background of the Witch Hat Atelier ones, it's just like these panels that they hang up with the fabric. And like, yes, that allows everyone to be kind of together and it makes it easier to find the photo shoot, but man, is the lighting in there sucky. Once again, I will complain that they don't iron those backdrops. If they just iron them, that would help so much. But I do find that, unfortunately, because it also gets so noisy because it's in a warehouse area, it makes it really hard to coordinate. Because, like, everyone brings a megaphone, but then everyone's using their megaphone. And it just gets so noisy and loud. And I don't know. I'm liking the photo shoots less and less. And I'm hoping they'll bring the outdoor ones back eventually. That I need to find more of the unofficial meetups. This was a lore favorite. He is obsessed with Deadlock right now. We managed to find a Lady Geist. Yeah, I don't know too much about Deadlock. I have not played it. All I do know is I love Viscous. Let's see. It's very chaotic and opportunistic shots while wandering the floor is always preferable. Yeah, at this point. Geist is Kev's main. Interesting. But yes. Deadlock, in case people care. Lots of Mikus this year. Miku variants. I think we're having a Miku renaissance. This is one that Lore was obsessed about. No face leak Miku. She's a cunty ghost lady. Which more do you need? Yeah, I guess. I need Viscous. We need a Viscous cosplay. I gotta figure out how to do that. Bruh, Miku no face is something I never thought I'd see alone, let alone imagine, right? There were so many variants. We had some of like the obvious ones where, you know, I know there was really popular in the art sphere was doing the Mikus around the world. So there were a lot of like around the world Mikus. There was a lot of standard Mikus. The two biggest ones that I saw, which are actually really popular if you look at the ASIN tag, someone had a Miku marionette. She was like a low poly Miku marionette. Like she was just actually puppeteering the marionette. And there was a Miku, I think it was a Miku in a tank, a robotic tank that someone was driving. So I think it was Miku. It might have been some gacha character, possibly. Yeah, it was the Miku tank. Okay, I thought it was. Be the Viscous cosplay you want to see in the world open. Yes, become the Glorb. I could try to find a video. I mean, it's out there. If you type in, like, the ASIN tag for cosplay, like, it's everywhere. We also had the Demons from Fryrun. That was another big one. There were a lot of Fryruns. I also like that we saw these guys, so it was a little bit more unique. So apart from Fryrun and Fern, we did get the Demons. Fryrun, yes. I say it that way because that's similar to my handle on Tumblr. My handle on Tumblr is actually very similar, so I have a tendency to say it that way. Put the Fryrun in the back, yes. You see it Fryrun because that's literally her name, yeah. Laura got this one for me because I did not see her and I'm very happy. Katarina Klaus from that wonderful Otome, My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. Definitely I'm in my Otome era. Kind of. I'm very picky though. Definitely like hers though. I'm not a huge fan of the villainous arcs. I think there's only like one. No, I'm not gonna, no. I don't even like that one. I just find it gimmicky because it's just like, it's just the heroine. It's just a twist on the heroine. You're not an actual villain. I don't care. You found the Miku tank. Nice. Miku tank posted in chat in case people care. But yes, definitely loving the Otome scene. And we have our Katarina. And that was a pretty good cosplay. I've been tempted to cosplay her as well. This amazing Marissa. Those face masks, I know they have a specific name. It's like Kigurumi, but not. It's got like some sort of fancy name. Those were also really big this year. Now, in the past, have found these masks to be kind of Uncanny Valley-y, but the newer ones, especially the ones I was seeing this year, seemed more normal and natural. We had a ton. Like, I want to say I saw like 20 to 30 of these people, like, with these masks walking around. Yeah, they're a lot better now. Because, like, the ones in the past definitely kind of gave me the creeps. But the newer ones, like, there were some people who were walking around where it was just like, I don't know, it almost looked natural that they had it on. Like, as if they just did makeup or something. So, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we have, Jill, there we go. Brain is not fully melted yet. Jill from Valhalla, which I actually just played that game this year. Actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It was nice, light, easy to get through. Definitely feel like picking that up again. Jewel, I know. It's Jill. It's our lovely Jill. Dorothy Gaming. Yes. Our lovely washing machine. Very bad joke. Thank you for the resubscribe. You forgot stream. That's okay. We're getting to the best part anyways. We just got through most of the cosplay photos and I'm about to reveal my cosplay. The psychic damage that I dealt throughout this whole con. Like, I kid you not. The amount of people I heard groan, cry, yell, like, it was insane. Like, I did, and I also, like, was constantly stopped for photos. So there is a good chance if you search the tag, you might actually get to see my in real life face out there. Because like I said, I was stopped for photos a lot. But we're getting to that part. Streamers mispronouncing things is kind of the point. Yeah, the damage wasn't real. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We are not flesh posting on the stream. So there are in real life photos of me out there. I actually don't 100% mind. I don't think I'm gonna be a huge ass streamer anytime soon. If you see my face, whatever. So that's not a huge deal, but I'm just at least drawing the line with on stream. So I will not like officially say, yes, that's me. Although I will say there are a handful of VTubers who I have given permission to see my actual face. I close my eyes. VTubers exist 2D only. Yes. We cannot break kayfabe after all. Exactly. There are a few VTubers who have gotten to see my face directly. Usually very close friends of mine. So they have seen it and they have permission to see it. Like I said, there's a chance if you dig around on the ASEN tag, you might see my face. I don't really care. Just don't tag it as Opie or anything. That's, like I said, that's just kind of where I'm drawing the line. Like, it exists. Like, and there's even cosplays of me way in the past as well. Like, I know my Kawakami is out there somewhere. I know that's been posted. My root tile is out there. That's been out in social media. So, like, I exist out there. It does, but just try not to tag it or make it Opie. That's all I care about. The Undertaker really is the zombie wrestler. Oh, yes. Papa Shango really is the witch doctor. And then Miss Opie Possum really is a possum woman in 2-dimensional. Yes, I am here flat as can be. All right, let's see. Is the next photo? Yes. So here's a hint. Here's my evil hint. My evil hint about what I cosplayed this year, all thanks to Ness. I am so grateful for you, Ness. I am so grateful for your con stream because you gave me this idea. And I inflicted so much psychic damage at this con because of it. I can't even begin to tell you. Like I said, walking around, the groans, the yells, the cries. You think you saw it not knowing it was you? Yes. Yup. I was stopped for so many photos. This was the hat I made from to goodbye. I spent a lot of time by the way, can I go back? Hold on. There we go. I hand painted this. So this is in progress. I painted this by hand. Got a $20 graduation gown from Amazon. It came with the cap, and then I hand painted it with fabric paint. So we got the cap, and then this, I spent like 2 hours crafting. I used my old high school diploma because technically, okay, fun fact. Quiet though. Shh. I technically technically, like on paper, technically, never graduated high school. Technically. Fun fact. But I still managed to get into college. I didn't do a GED or anything. I just technically didn't graduate. FBI, open up. You're not allowed to stream without a degree. I'm getting you fired. Sorry. Good luck. I actually, see, that's the thing. It's like, I could say I didn't graduate high school, but the thing is, I graduated from a private college, magna cum laude. So, like, good luck. People usually see the college degree and then don't really care about the high school stuff. So there you have it. But yes, I spent 2 hours taking my high school diploma and revamping it. Ignore the wording on the gold because so half the reason why I didn't graduate technically was because I was homeschooled. And I could go into detail about that later, but it was a matter of like, you need to have a certain amount of credits. And I did the thing where I went to community college first before going to actual college. And for community college, they didn't need to see that you graduated. They just needed to see like your junior and senior year grades. And I technically never finished my senior year while homeschooled, technically. But they let me into community college. I completed my 2 years in community college and went off to a private college. So, yeah. Very interesting. Possum fraud, kind of. But I took my degree, and unfortunately, because my homeschool was very Catholic, there's like some weird biblical shit around here. But I wanted the gold, and I figured in photos, no one's gonna read that. But I did also commit another fraud of the signatures. So yes, it is Hollow Myth. We have Calliope, Ina, Kiara, and Amelia. I basically found like their trading cards where they signed, like they had like their autograph on the trading cards. I found photos of that and then kind of traced them so that way I could have them on the certificate just to make it look a little bit more specific. Yes, I went into full details on this. I crafted this like little ribbon gold thing. I forged these signatures. I found the Hollow Myth font and downloaded it and like typed and designed all this in Word, which also was a pain in the ass because it's Word. Yes, I paid a lot of attention to detail to this diploma. She had to build the damn thing by hand and lost most of her progress after anything. I did, because what I forgot is I needed to print this out with narrow margins. And I forgot with Word, if you don't put it as narrow margins to begin with, it screws everything up. So I didn't like fully lose it, but I had to reformat everything after switching to narrow margins. You definitely be a contender at the off-kite cosplay contest. Yes, thank you. I do. One of these days, I do want, like I said, I want to go full out on a cosplay one of these days. Like the only cosplay I think I've ever gone truly full out on are two. My Shoebill cosplay and my Rutile one. Those guys I did full scale, hours, lots of work, fine detailing. Like those two I did the most detailing. I will say I did a decent to this one, but this one was more of like a goofy slapdash cosplay. All right, on to the next bit. So there we go. The full cosplay ensemble. I had my little backpack. I kept it casual underneath just because those cosplay, like the graduation gowns, if you've ever graduated before, you know those things get freaking hot. So I kept it really light underneath just as a way to be like, yeah, if it gets too hot, I could take the gown off. I did style up the wig. I did make the hair clippies by hand as well. A lot of this I did by hand, so it was crazy. And a lot of it I did last minute, so that's why last week I was just in cosplay crunch. We would have reprised the Gura Duration for Anime Midwest, but unfortunately Opie isn't free for that weekend, so alas. Yeah, we would have gone to Midwest, but unfortunately they decided to schedule me that weekend, and it's just like, I don't even want to try to get off at that point, because unfortunately that's also the 4th of July weekend, and if you've ever worked with a work that where you have to work on a holiday, you know it's nearly impossible to get off. Cute if painful, yes. That's what I got a lot of that. I got a lot of, oh, it's so good, but it hurts so bad. I got a lot of those comments. Also obligatory cosplay photo by the Rosemont Fountain. You always have to get that one. So we got a nice little close up here. They had this cute little gachapon thing. I know they had like a gachapon station, but I like the little props. So I was like, oh, cute girl cosplaying a gachapon. Got some group cosplays. So we have an Iron Mouse. She was actually, I think, one of the first ones to stop me for a photo. And I was like, shoot, let's just get a photo together. Why not? 2 VTuber baddies. Let's go. We also found an Amelia who was very impressed by my degree to the point where they used the magnifying glass on it, which I loved. That's not the real Romnus. She can walk. Yeah. Yeah. Iron Mouse. She can't walk. You're right. And then I found this group. So that was the other sad thing. The sad thing was that the HoloLive meetup for ASEN this year was on Friday. And we have been only doing 1 days. So it was a shame that I did not get to go to the big HoloLive meetup, but I was happy to find at least this little group. We got Bales, Fauna, and Iris. Yeah, Friday at 1, it was insane. I know, okay, so here's the thing. ASEN has like ridiculously tripled their prices. Like if you want a decent price on a weekend pass, you have to buy the pass if you remember, because that's the other thing is like it's the remembering part. You have to order it November, the year before. And like even then, I think it's like $80 for the weekend, which that's not too bad. But literally you only have like a week to do that. And then like a specific week in November, the year before, you get it for that. And then after that, it jumps up to like $120 for the weekend. And it's just like, no. Not worth, especially in the past when it used to be like, oh, it was $50 for the weekend if you did it in November. Fine, that made sense. And then it's like $50 for your day pass or whatever. But so that's why we've been doing just day passes recently, because they've been really stupid about their pricing. The other scummy thing they did, which we would have taken them up on, is I got an announcement after we got back from ASEN, from like the ASEN Twitter. Hey everyone, buy next year's full weekend passes at $50 at Con on Sunday. And I was like, are you kidding me? If I had known, we would have bought in like a Saturday, Sunday pass just so that we would have gotten that discount or whatever. I don't know. They've been doing some pretty scummy stuff. I was in their Discord last year and I don't know, the management teams and stuff like that, they've been getting really catty. So when stuff kind of goes awry with ASEN, it really doesn't surprise me that much because of just, I know what's going on behind the scenes and it ain't pretty. SC25 has it the month after last year's con for cheaper prices, then prices increased. See, that's nice. That makes sense. No, for ASEN, it's like you have to pick, it's November. And good luck if you remember because it's like, oh, holidays and stuff. Yesterday was the cutoff for the cheapest prices for next year. 70. See, that's not bad. 75 for the weekend. But yeah, it's crazy. Yes, I agree. Very bad, JoJo. It's very sad. Also, they only sell a limited number of Saturday passes. So if they're sold out, you have to buy a weekend pass to attend on Saturday. Yep. I thought that was also kind of scummy. I'm like, that doesn't make sense at that point. So I let it be. It is what it is. All right, but this was a cute one. They all, when I asked for their photo, because I had to run up to them, and they turned around, they all wilted. They all went, ooh, when they saw my cosplay, but I was glad that they were willing to take a photo with me. And then this one, I sent this one to Ness. I did get a picture with the Ness, and I thought it was so freaking cute. Because, yeah, why not? And you know what, actually, hold on. Can we get a shout out for Ness? You've been a trooper this whole time. Let's see. S-O. Well, can I button right? There we go. No, I can't button right. I can do this. Can I do this? Can I not? Did I? No, that's not it. Fuck. What? No, what? Thank you. All right. Thank you, Lord. Can you tell I know how to stream? I can do this. You wouldn't be the first streamer who can't spell. No, I spelled, because it's 122. I'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Yes, repping the classics. Exactly. But I thought that was a good one. And this guy was so sweet, too. I couldn't help it. All right, merch time. We actually got a really good haul on merch. First of all, CDs. These three I was genuinely shocked on, especially this one. This is like nearly hard to find. Aria, these two are basically my comfort shows. Aria the animation and Hidamari sketch, they're almost always on. I almost have them on, especially if I'm having a bad day. Like, these are my go-to if I want to feel better. I love Hidamari sketch because I really identify with Yoshinoya as a teacher. She's basically me as a teacher if I had no impulse control. Like, if I just let my teacher inside thoughts as a teacher come out, I would be Yoshinoya. But, realistically, she's not a good teacher, so we don't do that. Let's see. CD. Yes. Oh my gosh. CD's nuts in your mouth. Yes. No. Alice. Yes. I desperately do want to cosplay Alice from Aria. She is like top of my list. Also because I've canoed, I've kayaked. Like, I actually could, like, so long as I find, like, I'm pretty sure in Chicago, there's got to be like a gondola service somewhere around the Chicago River because it's a pretty chill river. Mostly in certain spots. Pretty sure there's someone I could like convince to be like, hey, will you let me do a photo shoot and let me stand on your gondola? I mean, worst comes to worst, I just go to the local places that I know where I could use a canoe and just hop on a canoe, but it's not quite the same. But yes, amazing CDs. Laura and I are replenishing our physical media. Just because, as streaming services just get worse and worse and worse, it just becomes very clear having physical media is the way to go. So, Opie is going to move to Wisconsin and buy a lake house so she could Aria cosplay. Yes. Rename herself Ope. Wow. That's not my name, but close enough. That and the other big cosplay on my to-do list is there is a park, a conservatory, something or other that's like a ways away from here, that has tanks. And they have a lot of tanks and you could like sit on the tanks. Like, it's like a park and you could like go and play on the old tanks and stuff. Not all of them are you allowed to play on. They do have some that are like marked off and stuff like that. But some of the tanks you could play on. I desperately want to do a Girls in Panzer cosplay. I just need to figure out what tanks they have and then figure out who from Girls in Panzer uses that tank and then cosplay that. I'm excited about it. I have so many hard drives filled with anime. Nice. Yes. I've been trying to amass more and more physical media and backups of stuff as I go along. I've been wanting to do that too. I need to sit down. There's a lot of YouTube videos, like unique, personally created stuff, like by normal people of the internet, that I desperately want to download because it's just like, if they disappear, it's gone. It's gone forever, and I would hate that. This manga, I don't know, Lore picked it up. Looks interesting. I don't know. We're putting it on the merch list. We put it on the merch list because this is something Lore grabbed. I hear him typing, so I'm waiting to see what he's got to say. Unless he's chatting with the boys. I've heard good things, and Opie is becoming anti-piracy in her dotage. Yeah. This was a find. Because you don't understand. Let me go to the next photo really quick. So last year, we found 1, 2, and specials at ASEN, I think. We went to a random half-price books and miraculously found season 3 and season 4. So the only thing I was missing was the Saiyan Heroes graduation. And I was like, I'm going to look. I'm just going to look just to see. There's no way. We bought everything out last year. They didn't even have this last year because if they did, I was going to buy it. They freaking had it. They freaking had the last one, and I am so happy. The only thing I am miffed about is that at the half-price books, season 4 was a DVD and not a Blu-ray, so unfortunately I do get the awkward, it's not perfect, but, whatever. I'm happy at least to have all the seasons. That's what matters. This is such a bullshit find. It is the ultimate, there's no fucking way find. Exactly. It is a god pull. It really, really, really was. So other merch. This one was also a fun pull because as we were looking through figurines, I was literally talking to Laura. I was like, wow, there really isn't any good figurines this year. I really hope we find that Alice ramen topper I saw on Good Smile. Literally, the moment the words left my mouth and my hand was kind of waving over the figurines, there she was, literally under my hand. It was like magic. I like summoned her. It was weird. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. And I pulled it out and we got the Alice topper. And then because we rebuilt my PC this year and we nicknamed her Marissa, I got me a cute Marissa peeker to add to my case as well as this cute little sticker. And of course, because Alice is Lore Master's waifu, I did find a sticker for him as well because she is kind of rare merch wise. So I was pretty happy about that. We also got some omamori. I've always been wanting one. We got a cute little bear one for success and a bee one for happiness. Now, I did notice that they're not actual omamori, because I think like the actual ones, they're done at temples and there's usually like either a slip of paper or a piece of wood inside that's prayed over by a Buddhist monk, which gives it its effectiveness, essentially, if you want to believe it, for that luck. Granted, I'm Catholic. I probably could pull out some weird-ass novena that works the same way and shove some paper in there and it would do the same thing if we're being superstitious. So, but they were really cute. They had some adorable designs. Another favorite one is she had a, like, 4 for, like, 1.5 special. Like, you had to pay a little bit more than just one. And it was an oarfish, and it had like a head, and then it was like a body, and a tail, and it was like a super long, so you can make like the super long oarfish with all of them, which I thought was really cool. Very genius, because then that worked with her special of like, oh, you know, it's like you buy 3 for $25 or whatever. She had like a buy 4 for whatever, and that oarfish kind of worked with that. And I was like, that's a smart selling gimmick. I like that, because you know, obviously you could just get the 4 various ones. But I like that she had a 4 set right away as well, which was clever. I like it. Real omamori are hard to find. Yeah. That's what I find as well. I feel like I bet you really the best way to get an actual one is to straight up travel to Japan at that point. Smeeskies! Okay, so there's a lot of like gacha stuff going around, like the little plastic things. I know like La Boo Boo is really popular. The Kewpie dolls are really popular. So like those little collection blind box things. I like these guys. I've liked them way before. I'm glad to see that they're suddenly becoming popular because it's making it easier for me to find, because I discovered these like way back in 2015 or something like that. And have had a collection for a while. And now that they're becoming popular again, I got really excited. The only downside is despite a lot of booths having blind boxes, they didn't have any Smeeski ones. So I was a little upset there, but I was happy to find some Smeeski stickers. So was happy. What's a Smeeski? Literally a chunk of plastic. That's all it is. It's like a little collectible plastic thing. It's these little guys, and as you can see, they have like little poses and stuff like that. Like, this is an actual plastic figurine. He is looking underneath his butt like that. Some of these I don't think, like, he is one. I don't think there's a toilet one. Like, I know there's a toilet paper one. He exists as a plastic figurine. I don't think he does. I know some people like make their own. Most of these are based off of the figurines. There is a little one where he's sitting on a laptop. The other cool thing about the figurines is that they glow in the dark. I don't know. They're just cutie little desktop decoration kind of things. I like them. Like I said, I discovered them like way back in 2015. So I've been obsessed with them, and I like that they're having a bit of a renaissance right now. Toilet Smeeski just looks so zen. He does. Just pooping. I need him. He needs to be like my little deity in the bathroom. We got some keychains. Oh, there's the pizza button I got from Pizza Siver. We got a free run for Andrew. He wanted that one. These were my favorite. When I saw them, I was like, I should only buy one. But I was just like, I couldn't choose. I couldn't choose between one, so I had to buy both because I freaking love that Wii game. I have so many happy memories of just me playing with my little siblings, my little paw siblings, where we're all just fishing for these stupid little watercolored fish that flip around with the Wii remote. Just very happy times, happy memories. So this is probably like I took a separate picture of it. It's literally my favorite piece of merch. It made me so happy. Yes. Oh, hey, I found them. They are nice, right? Yeah, they're like 2-inch figurines. Nice, fun. Rook's ETA is 9 o'clock. Okay, good to know. We are pup sitting a dog named Rook, and he shall be coming, and I shall not be dogless, which is nice. Others, we did finally, they repealed their ban on stickers. Now, I get it. Being a hotel and convention center, they banned stickers the last 2 years because they were having issues where people kept sticking in places. And then, of course, it's damaging to the places where they're sticking. And, of course, not all these stickers are kind either. Most of them are, but there's a handful of booths out there that have some rather unkind or unpleasant stickers that wouldn't be nice to have out in public, really. Perfect for personal stuff, but like not a public thing. And people were posting in places, and so they had to ban them. I do think what happened is that the artists did kind of like strike out on them because like that is a huge income. Because like the 2 years we went where there was no stickers, it did kind of suck because it was just like that's your quick, easy buy. These things are like $2 to $5 to buy. But then like literally all their other merch that they could sell had to be like $10 plus, and no one wants to spend that money. You want something nice and cheap. And plus they're low risk for the artist to sell. Like it's not a huge loss if you don't sell all of them, etc. So I'm hoping what happened is that they kind of struck out on the convention center and they finally let up on that ruling. So we were really happy to see stickers came back, which is why we got the most of the stickers this year. It's why we can't have nice things. Exactly. I love the Dodogama. Right, the little plushie. There were a lot of Monster Hunter ones. It was really hard to choose from, but I think this one was like by far my favorite one. I slam stickers on the side of my PC case like an enemy vehicle kills on a fire. Right? It's the only way. I do like PC. I stick them on my iPad, and then I do also have a specialty sticker book. I am so glad that these exist now, that they have repealable sticker books. So it's like laminate sheets essentially, and then you put your stickers on them, but you're able to remove them, which I love. So I've started one because I love stickers, and not all the times do I want to stick them on things, or I want to be able to think about what I want to stick it on. But yes, these are our favorite stickers. Definitely love the alien possum one. We've nicknamed Bibu. We have Asenchi. We have Neopets. I have Illison. She's basically my wife. Kind of. I don't know. I'm obsessed. That exists, buying one, right? I'll link, I think they're like re-stickable. I don't know. They're called sticker albums. If you look up sticker albums, usually like on Etsy, I think I bought mine on Amazon, but they're like laminate sheets instead. And a lot of artists, like even at Artist Alley, there were a lot of booths selling those albums as well. So like, oh, you buy your stickers, get this album, and then you could put your stickers in the album and then re-stick them later, which is amazing. We have Ellison from Neopets. We got some Pokemon. We have Chikawa. Of course, there was so much of this stuff everywhere. Had to get an obligatory Gura. And then this one was just fun because the other interesting thing I'll say about this one, yes, this is true. But the other interesting thing of why I went with that one is because the artists did something interesting, and I don't know if they were doing this at the con that you were at, Ness, and I'm kind of curious, is stamp rallies. So a bunch of local artists or familiar artists basically team up with each other. And here, I'll go to the next page because this explains it. And they did themed stamp rallies. And basically, you would go to a booth. You would purchase, nice, Joe. You would purchase something from their booth. It was usually like $1 to $5 minimum. And then you would get a stamp. And then at the end, there would be one booth that was like the ending booth that you would go to. Either A, you would be entered into a raffle of some sort for some big prize, and or B, you got a little prize pack. So I did the Neopets one because I was just curious because I thought that was like a genius little gimmick. And as you could see, you got like a little card. It gave you the booth numbers. I will say that was probably something they need to improve on. Like, this is a cute idea. I kind of like it. But the big thing is if you're going to be identified by booth numbers, you need to make that number big at your booth. It took me a long time. Luckily, like, Laura and our friend were busy with stuff, so I got to, like, actually take some time in Artist Alley to find all these, because I went off on my own. But, like, it took me some time to find some of them because the numbers weren't very obvious. Same thing with the name of their booths. They weren't very obvious, especially when it was busy. So, I do think they could have improved upon that, but I did do that. The only other downside to that too was like, okay, I liked some of these. I think two of them was just like, okay, I kind of have to buy something from your booth, but literally nothing here looks interesting. Which is like, this one was like the most interesting thing, and these two were the most interesting thing. But like the booths that they came from, I was like, eh. So it is what it is. It's not going to hit everything, but I did do it. And then in the end, I got like these 4 trading cards that they handmade and a bunch of stickers. So it was a lot of fun. They had a bunch of different themed ones. There was the biggest one was the Chikawa one. I know there was, I think, a Chainsaw Man one. There was just a generic Chicago themed one. Like a bunch of booths were participating. Some booths were doing multiple. So I thought it was a cute idea as a way to like really spread business. I like the idea. Think there could be improvements, but I think that was pretty clever. Let's see. There was a scavenger hunt at SC25. It's interesting. You did not participate. Yeah, I'm so on scavenger hunts. It also really depends on like what they're requiring of that hunt too. My friend Egg lost her shit when she heard there was a Chikawa stamp rally, right? Woman is feral for Chikawa. Yes. Eventually I will get around to watching that. And then that brings us pretty much to the end. We, unfortunately, ASEN, like I said, the drama that goes into running it, something I had been contemplating because they keep driving up the ticket prices is running a panel myself, because how they quote unquote pay you for your panel is they give you a weekend pass, which is nice. So I've been tempted to run a panel because here's my thought, and I think it'd be a great panel. Teachers in anime, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think that'd be a great panel, analyzing what is teacher okay and teacher not okay. Obviously, we would have to kind of exclude, although we probably could do a secondary panel in the evening. They do 18 plus panels after 9 p.m. But also, I guess it's just a matter, do you stick around that late? And I'm not, unless I have a hotel, I'm usually not sticking around that late. But I probably would stay around from the hentai teachers. Because we already know what category they're going in. But that would be a fun one to rank in and of itself as a separate 18 plus panel. But I think it would be fun to do a good, the bad, and the ugly teachers. But the thing is with that idea, I sat down because I was thinking about even just doing it this year. I did look into it earlier like at the end of 2024, before like their paneling stuff opened up. And I was reading through their guidelines, and they just... You can't do anything. Like the rules and the restrictions for all their panels makes it so you almost can't talk about anything or do anything fun for that matter. Let's see. We're con commuters, which is also why we get a 1-day attendance. Yeah, it's a hard sell to do a full weekend without the hotel, but getting the hotel is kind of a waste if we live so close. Exactly. SC has 18 plus panels. Nice. I do like them. We've gone to a couple in the past. I also find it weird that they're only doing it at 9 p.m. because I swear when I first started going to ASEN with Lore, like they had 18 plus panels, but they were in the afternoon. You just had to show an ID to get in. Like they had like a bouncer essentially. But then I think they just didn't want to deal with the bouncer, I guess. I don't know. Which is why they left it to the 9 o'clock stuff, because I guess it's easier to deal with. Regardless. So yeah, they just really cracked down on not letting you do anything fun with panels. So it was really slim pickings this year. The first one we went to, this one was kind of like a throwaway one, just as a, hey, you know what, we need something to break up our day. Ita bagging, it was kind of clever. It was just basically, you know, the bags with a bunch of pins. Like, they did go into the history of it, which was interesting, of how it actually, Ita bagging really started only in 2015. So that was kind of interesting. Like, it did start a little bit before, but like its boom happened in 2015 and it came over to the US around then. So it was interesting to hear the history of that. The thing I was more interested in was if they had more information about like how to protect it, because I have an Ita bag, I use it, but I did notice that like the front is getting all scratched up, some of the pins and stuff are getting banged up, and I was like, do they have any suggestions or tips and tricks for like fixing things or securing things? And they had like a couple, but they were like very obvious, like use a protector of some sort, or use styrofoam, and it was just like, oh, okay. So it was interesting. If you have never done it before, this was a good panel, but it was just like, no fun. Basically, well, it's been like no fun for the past like 3 or 4 years at this point. It's gotten worse now, like definitely worse now. It used to be like, at least within the last couple of years, they used to do a lot of games and stuff like that, like mini game shows. They've cracked down on it. They're like, no, you can't even do game shows anymore. It's just like, well, what's the point? This other one was interesting. Health and medicine in anime. Funnily enough, it was run by someone who is cosplaying Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries. So, love the irony there. But it was interesting because she is a medical researcher, like an actual professional medical researcher. She did kind of look at some things. She did have beef with genetics. So, like our blonde hair characters in anime were... She specifically pointed to the ones where if there's an anime, obviously, where characters have blue, pink, purple hair, whatever, then blonde doesn't matter. But she was specifically pointing to the ones where, hey, it's very much, they're all brown or black hair, and you have the one character who's supposed to be, quote unquote, like, part European with blonde hair and blue eyes of like, but their one parent is Japanese. Of like, yeah, the genetics don't match. That doesn't happen. That just can't happen with the dominance. It's very, very rare if that happens. So I thought it was kind of cool. She did do a breakdown of Punnett squares. Me being a science teacher, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is normal, whatever. I did like, she did some tropier things. She did do about caloric intake. That one was so-so. My favorite one was anime parent syndrome. If you are a mother in a hospital and your kid comes out with pink or blue hair, she's like, I'm very sorry. There's this rare phenomenon in anime that just kills you, apparently. Posture check. Oh, cone of shame. All right. I am shrimping pretty bad. Hold on. All right. We got cone. Let's do, although I don't know why it zoomed. Oh, you know what? I bet you the at function key that I did for Cone of Shame zooms in on, it does. It zooms in on the PowerPoint. Interesting. Cone of Shame. Wow, Ness, thank you. There we go. Now I've got the actual Cone of Shame on. All right, but I did like it. It was very interesting. I do kind of wish she went more into specific diseases. Like, I thought that would have been more interesting. I did like that she did make it a point of like, hey, I know it's fiction, but as a medical researcher and someone in the field, what would be beneficial to us is actually portraying a lot of these diseases and symptoms a little bit more accurately. Because unfortunately, for a lot of people, this is their first exposure to, like, the anime is their first exposure to that disease, symptom, or whatever. Actually drink, yeah, you're right. It's been sitting here. My poor tea has just been sitting here and just cooling down. Ooh. Ouch. The raspberry leaf is, very potent in this one.
What? What does that even mean?
So, okay. I'm drinking a ginger raspberry leaf tea. I noticed that the raspberry leaf has a very... Because it's not the ginger. Ginger has a specific feeling of spice in your mouth. It's very much the raspberry leaf. It has that, like, more needly spice, and it's potent. What? Well, now I can't drink it. You're sick. Thanks.
God damn it. Well, you weren't drinking it anyway. You weren't drinking it anyway, so I admit no fault.
Okay. Let me set the scene. I had my tea. I'm drinking it, right? I'm saying that the raspberry leaf is a little bit more potent. Lore comes over and takes a sip. He's sick right now. He's got a little bit of like a light con cold or something. And he's like, it's fine, it's fine. And then he didn't realize he's sick and now I can't drink the tea. I literally had like 2 sips of the tea. So on to water then, which I luckily have right here. Jeez. All right. But yes, the health anime was pretty good. I do like that she did make a point. It was about like showing like diseases and stuff in anime a little bit more accurately. Obviously, you know, she did the caveat. It's fiction. What do you expect? But it would be nice in the future. She did say like Apothecary Diaries is pretty spot on She also listed off a couple of other ones of like, oh, here are some animes where like the medical stuff is pretty spot on. I'm also happy to hear her say, because I'm also like, even though I went into teaching, I am super into the medical field. Just via proximity, I have a lot of family members in the medical field. She was happy to talk about like in her example of like why we want to accurately represent stuff of like, Grey's Anatomy is not your first go-to for anything medical. It is absolute garbage. But she's like, but if you picked up something from Scrubs, that's a different story. Which is true. If you've ever watched Scrubs, it is probably one of the more medically accurate shows out there. Even more so, House isn't even that quite medically accurate. But then again, House is also doing more of the more rare diseases, which is pretty unusual. This was a cunning plan to get out of drinking her tea. House is a documentary. No, it is not. I swear, though, if I have, like, an elder gentleman with a cane come into my hospital room, someone just pull the plug on me immediately. I do not want to see that man. The camera actually gets that small. Wow. The last panel we went to, this one was actually pretty decent. It was hosted by, I think he said he was an ex-radio jockey. Bob Anderson, Bob After Dark presents Yokai and You. And he just basically... Granted, I already knew a lot of this because another background thing for me is I actually did a lot of professional storytelling. That's a whole nother story. I have thought about doing some of that stuff for streaming, but in professional storytelling, you get into a lot of folklore stuff. So a lot of the stuff he mentioned, I knew mostly about just from having to peruse for finding my own stories for storytelling. I literally have a like 500 or 800 page Japanese folklore book in my library that literally just has a bunch of like horror and folklore stories in it. So that are all Japanese, which is fascinating. But he just sat down, went through a lot of the common yokai like Yuki Onna. I'm trying to think of some other ones. We had the Nekomatas, the Kappas, the Tengus. We had an interesting discussion of who would win one Tengu versus 100 Kappas. It was interesting because even though it was after dark, he still couldn't do the full 18 plus stuff, which I found funny. Which is also interesting because there was other panels that I've been in that were not 18 plus that kind of got away with some of those topics. But it was interesting. I enjoyed it. He did give a little bit of story background to some of the characters. He also pulled up photos. Very entertaining. You could, like I said, definitely you could tell he was an ex-disc jockey. I mean, he runs a podcast now, so if you're interested in what he has to say, you could go check out his podcast. It's literally the title of the panel. It's just Bob After Dark or whatever. So very entertaining. It was a great way to end the night. Nice and chill. Way to kind of relax before we had to make our giant trek back to the car. But that's it. And actually, hold on. That is the link. I am going to post that in case any of you guys were curious. These were at least the cards that I got from the merch. If anyone was interested in any of the merch that I got or seeing what other merch these people had, feel free to check them out. I plan to also post that probably somewhere on social media as well. Like I said, enjoy the photos. If you happen to see my in real life face, congrats on finding me. Like I said, I don't mind. Also, please note that when I'm in cosplay, I am also very heavily make-upped, and I typically don't look like that. I actually usually run pretty makeupless on a daily basis. So, and I definitely have one of those faces where I almost look completely different with and without makeup. So good to know. You might see me, and if you see me in real life, I actually might look completely different, depending on how much makeup I decided to put on that day. Well, I would say that was a pretty good stream. I hope to do more streams in the future. You know what? Let me go to... Go back here. Does my cone stay? It does stay. Good job, cone. I'm so glad that stayed. I do hope to stream some more. I think this will probably be it for May, though. It has been kind of a rough month health-wise. Ascend, I managed to muster enough energy for it, but boy, did it wipe me. I'm still in slight recovery from it, and unfortunately work has not been too good to my health either, and so we are now asking for accommodations, so it's fun. I am hoping June should be quieter. A lot of the health stuff and doctor's appointments I've been going to have finally calmed down, which is nice. We've been getting some more answers. Maybe I'll do a health stream again in the future, just to go into that, because I just feel like it's helpful. Like, half of the reason why I'm getting better is because I found other social media people talking about stuff. So I figure at least throwing one stream out there, one VOD out there with some information would be good for people. Like I said, I don't plan to be like a super health disability yatty chatty person. I'm here for the games and for fun. I get that that's other people's shtick, but not mine. Thanks for streaming. Have a good night. Have a good night, Bahamut. Thanks for stream. If you see Opie's flesh face, no, you didn't. Like I said, I'm fine if you see my face in real life. Just don't tag it as Opie. All right, let's see if we have someone to raid. Like I said, hopefully June will be a little bit quieter. And we will do some more streams around then. Let's see. We have a couple of options. Let's do, yeah, Cereza. I was just about to say, Cereza looks like she could use some views. Cereza is a cute little horror VTuber. So we're gonna go ahead and raid her if I can remember how to start the raid. Keep an eye out on social medias. Actually, I think I'm gonna take off the health hiatus stuff. At this point, I can comfortably kind of stream it at minimum once a month, and I like that. We're pretty much not on a hiatus anymore. So long as I'm keeping up to once a month. Obviously, if I could do more than once a month, great. But keep an eye out on socials and Discords. That's pretty much where I'm going to post if I decide to start streaming. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, noon, or night wherever you are. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.